on the front porch, we're on the patio. On the front porch, when I was saying the electric receptacle outlet needed a in-use cover, well, that's true. It does. And I said that it was inoperable. It was inoperable at the time, so was this one. They're all controlled. The GFCI circuit for the exterior, which was acceptable when this home was built, but no longer acceptable. The GFCI circuit the exterior shares the same GFCI circuit with the bathrooms. And the garage, neither the walls nor the ceiling or no part of the garage is GFCI protected. Now these GFCI protected receptacles should be labeled as being so. It should say GFCI protected, and of course it's not. This is the electric meter, and the meter box should be sealed. We're on the east side of the garage. Power's coming below grade. Looking for a ground wire around here somewhere. It's kind of hard to tell on these sometimes because they're covered up pretty good. This is your load center. Some people call it the electric service panel. Some people call it the breaker box. Call it what you will. This is the dead front cover for it. And if you'll notice that these openings are all nice and square. If we open this up and we see this bottom gang of breakers, we'll see that one's higher than the other. So right there where the circuit breaker is missing, we're also, there's a hole. There's a hole in the dead front. You can put your finger in there. It's copper to copper. L1 and L2 up here, and I can't tell because it's too high. These breakers are higher than 6 foot 6 inches. So, but we should have protective neoprene covers on L1 and L2. And the main neutral coming into the house. Where are you? Right there? That should be wrapped with white tape, and it's not wrapped with white tape. We've got white hots. If you don't know those are hot, you don't belong in the cabinet. I get that. But we've got white hots, and it's not labeled. So we do not know which one goes to the condensing unit, so I cannot, positively determine that the condensing unit is properly fused. Now this breaker right here, this 60 amp breaker, goes to these down here. So in 6 those or less, that's considered an electric service disconnect. It is. But it's not a single main principle, and we would rather have that. And then we've got white hots. And of course, if you don't know those are hot, you don't belong in the cabinet. Then we come on along here for the rest of the circuits. We've got GE, GE, GE. Is this a GE panel? Yep, it's a GE panel, okay. So coming on along here, we got, see all those whites? Those are neutrals. Neutrals carry current. Neutrals are not supposed to be double lugged. So we got some double lug neutrals. And see all those grounds right there? Well, you can double, some people say you can triple lug the ground, but you can't like multi-lug your ground like that. I mean, you can, look, they did it, but you shouldn't multi-lug your ground. Your bonding location is on the water heater cold water supply. We know that. You'll see that in the water heater video, but it should be labeled in the panel so that the electricians out here working on it, he'd know where to go looking for it. You know where to go looking for it. And of course, then the circuit breakers aren't properly labeled, and the wires are in direct contact with the cover. So what do we learn? We learned that our meter and our box should have been sealed to help prevent water from getting into the walls. We learned that we should have neoprene covers on L1 and L2. We learned that we should have had white tape on our main ground. We learned that we shouldn't have ganged our grounds like that. We learned that we shouldn't have white hots, that should be black tape wrapped on those. We learned that our neutrals should not be double lugged. That's what we learned. Those are just a few of the things that we learned. That our wires should not be in contact with the cable. This whole panel should not be higher than 6 foot 6 inches. The top breaker should not be higher than 6 foot 6 inches. I couldn't even get this darn thing open, or I hope I can get it closed. So that's what we learned. Okay.